Are you going to retire someday? Where are you going to do it? If you're thinking about retiring in the United States, today we're looking at 10 of the best cities to do that in 2024. I'm starting to change where I want to retire. I hear people are retiring on cruise ships now. They sell their home and just move on to a cruise ship. It's cheaper than a retirement home. But on this video, we're not going over the cheapest cities, and these aren't the safest cities, but these are overall some of the best places to retire in 2024. If you want to see more of these videos, because I could probably do 4 of these videos, leave me a message in the comment section. Maybe we'll do more. So what gets cities on this list? We're looking at the cost of living, healthcare, weather, and most importantly, the percentage of the population that is over 65. The average for the nation right now is 16.1% of the population. Now, a couple on this list are a touch above the national average on cost of living, and a couple don't have the best weather, but they're killing it in other categories, so they're on the list. Now, let me explain how the cost of living index works. If the cost of living index is 80 in a place, that means if you were in a place that was the national average and you bought, let's say, $100 worth of groceries, those same groceries in this place would be $80. It's a much more complicated subject than what I just said, but that gives you the idea. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, Santa Fe, New Mexico. I love Santa Fe, New Mexico. I've never stayed there in any extended period of time, maybe a few days here or there, like 5 times in my life. It is a beautiful city. On looks alone, I love this place. The architecture of just the average home is amazing. It's that old Spanish adobe type thing. I'm sure they have their own term for it, but that's what I call it. What's cool about those homes is even when they're run down, it sort of looks like it's part of the aesthetic that it's supposed to look run down. Then you see a house that's got like 5 broken down cars on the lawn, and you know that one's not doing it on purpose. It is run down. But Santa Fe, New Mexico is a city that is rich in history and culture. It's got a mild climate and a variety of outdoor activities. That's like their strong point, outdoor activities. If you want to buy a house here, a decent home's in between $400,000 and $500,000. Anything below that's going to take a little work. And yes, the prices go all the way up into the millions. That's pretty much every city outside of Mississippi and Arkansas. Anyway, the cost of living index in Santa Fe, New Mexico is 93.6. The weather is considered mild and warm, and their health care is graded good. There's 4 different things: poor, average, good, excellent. The percentage of the population that is over 65 in Santa Fe, New Mexico is 18.6%. Number 9, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Colorado Springs is a nice place to live. Been years since I've lived there. I've been back a handful of times, but I really like Colorado Springs back in the 90s, and it's still a pretty good place to live. Now, one thing I will mention about this isn't a political video, but if you're a Republican and you really lean red and that's important to you, Colorado Springs is your type of place. Denver, not so much. It's also a great place to retire if you are ex-military because you got Fort Carson right there. And now they've got, I guess it's Peterson Space Force Base is there also. I don't think that's very big though. If you want to buy a home here, a decent home's going to start around $375 to $475. They go up and they do go down too, but anything below that $375, again, it's going to take a little work. All right, here's the numbers. The cost of living index in Colorado Springs is 95.5. Weather is mild and has all 4 seasons, but it is Colorado, so you will get some snow. Their healthcare is rated excellent, and 19.1% of their population is over the age of 65. Number 8, Boise, Idaho. Boise, Idaho is a mountain city with mild climate and variety of outdoor activities and a relatively low cost of living. People always say that Boise is a mountain town. I never got that feeling. I always thought it was like a city in a valley, you know? They got mountains to the north and to the east, but I don't know. It's weird. Boise is a great place to live, and not just if you're Californian trying to escape California. All kinds of people are moving to Boise. And I have confirmation of someone from Boise moving to California. It's rare, but it happens. A high school friend retired from a police department down in Southern California. The people that bought his house were from Nampa, and he's moving to Sandpoint, I believe, or Coeur d'Alene, one or the other. You want to buy a decent home in Boise? They start off around $325,000, somewhere around there. Go up to about $425,000. That'll get you a decent home. All right, here's the stats. The cost of living index in Boise, Idaho is 88.5. The weather is considered mild with all 4 seasons. They do get some cold winters and their summers can get a little hot. Their healthcare is graded good, and the percentage of the population that is over 65 is 18.3%. Number 7, Cape Coral, Florida. Now, in full disclosure, I really could have done a whole video on just Florida alone. A lot of people move to Florida. There's a lot of 65 and older in Florida in a lot of the different cities, but not everyone's into Florida. And I think we've done a video before on the best places in Florida to retire. Cape Coral, Florida is one of them. Cape Coral, Florida is a city on the Gulf Coast with a really warm climate, beautiful beaches, and a variety of retirement communities. And no, we won't be talking about the Villages. By the way, if you want a good laugh, Google the Villages and loofahs. I guess the old folks at the Villages are kind of dirty. And I'm not talking like they're not taking enough showers. These people are putting different colored loofahs on their car so you know what they're into. And they've got a whole chart. Yes, elderly swingers, people. If that's not a sign of the apocalypse, nothing is. But if you're looking for Cape Corals on a map, it is south of Tampa and St. Petersburg near Fort Myers. And it's a nice town. It's beautiful. What's really cool about this place, you can get a decent home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, for under $300,000. Probably built in the 1980s or 1990s. If you want a really nice one, those start off around $450,000. All right, here's the stats. The cost of living index in Cape Coral, Florida is 99.2, so it's almost at the national average. Their weather is considered warm and sunny. Their healthcare is considered good, and the percentage of the population that is 65 or older is 18.8%. Number 6, Ashburn, Virginia. I'm sure a lot of you would have overlooked this one and probably still will. There's a couple things that get them on this list. One, if you're retired military, that's great because they have all kinds of military facilities in the area. Ashburn isn't a city as much as it's considered a census designated place. There's a few other things that make this place very appealing. One, it's outside of DC, far enough away not to be a problem. They have plenty of golf and plenty of outside activities. Now, this is one of the ones on the list that's a little expensive. Homes here start around $600,000, but you can buy condos for $400,000 on up. A lot of people like a condo. This is a great place for that. This is a fairly wealthy neighborhood. Here's the stats. The cost of living index in Ashburn, Virginia is 113.3. The weather is considered warm and sunny. Yes, it's the East Coast up there, Virginia. They will get some harsh winters, but most of the time it's warm and sunny. Their healthcare is excellent. This is probably the best healthcare on this list. And the percentage of the population that is 65 and older is 18.9%. Number 5, Madison, Wisconsin. Madison, Wisconsin is definitely a place for retirees that don't mind cold winters. Because it's Wisconsin, it gets pretty cold. Madison is the capital of Wisconsin, and it is a beautiful city with good people. It's also a college town, but it's a nice family town. They have a very friendly atmosphere, they have a low cost of living, and again, a lot of outdoor activities. They have 2 lakes on each side of the city. It's also great if you like craft beer. They got a good microbrew scene in Madison, Wisconsin. If you want to buy a house here, about $320,000 will get you into something a little bit older, but decent and livable. And then it goes up from there. All right, let's do the numbers. The cost of living index in Madison, Wisconsin is 92.1. The weather is mild with all 4 seasons. They do get some pretty cold winters, so it's Wisconsin. Gotta be expected. But you will get all 4 seasons here, and the summers in Wisconsin and Minnesota, for that matter, are wonderful. The healthcare in Wisconsin is graded excellent, and 18.5% of the population is 65 or older. So it's not your typical place to move for retirement because it's kind of cold. Number 4, San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio is a great historic city. It's got the Alamo right there. It's got things to see like the Riverwalk. I was there, 2 years ago? Maybe less, 18 months ago? I loved it, even though they had drained the river that weekend I was there. That sucked. Beautiful city, great people, plenty of things to do. It's also home to a number of military bases, which can bring in the military retirees. It's actually known as Military City, USA. I did a video and I did a survey on the best places for military retirement. This wasn't on the list, and I can tell you San Antonio is the best one. I had to go off what people said in the survey. My opinion didn't really matter. And the survey went out to veterans. So yeah, it's kind of weird. If you want a decent livable home in San Antonio, you're looking at about $230,000. So they get on this list for price alone. You can go below $200,000, but it's probably not in the best neighborhood and you're gonna have to do some work to it. But if you want something nice in a decent neighborhood, you could get it for under $300,000. All right, let's take a look at the numbers. The cost of living index in San Antonio, Texas is 92.8. Their weather is warm and sunny. It's a very nice place. I was there in October in t-shirt and shorts. Wasn't bad. Their healthcare is rated excellent, even more so if you're in the military, and 18.1% of the population is 65 years old or above. Number 3, Tucson, Arizona. Tucson, Arizona is a desert city south of Phoenix. I said that one time Tucson was south of Phoenix, and it's south and sort of east a little bit. Some guy lost it. He goes, it's not south, it's southeast. It's actually 4 degrees to the east. I was like, 4 degrees? Really, dude? Come on. His response was, you're not very professional. I'm like, if you showed up at this channel looking for professionalism, you've come to the wrong place. If you want to buy a home in Tucson, you're looking anywhere around $250 to $350, depending on the neighborhood. That will get you something nice. Above $350, you'll probably get something really nice. I should mention this. What do I consider nice? I consider a nice home is a home that you're probably not going to have to redo the wiring and the plumbing. The roof looks decent. The house looks well maintained, and it was built after the 1950s. Now, I'm not saying there's not great homes that were built before the 1950s. That's kind of, over 70 years on a home, that's a little long. There's very few that make it that long and are still in decent shape. All right, to the numbers. The cost of living index in Tucson is 85.1. That is pretty solid. Their weather is warm and sunny. It's beautiful weather in Tucson. It gets really hot in the summers, but most of the year it's pretty decent. Their healthcare is excellent, and their population over the age of 65 is 17.6%. Number 2, Greenville, South Carolina. Greenville's showing up on my list a lot lately. They've just happened to slip into a lot of different categories, and they've been the answer on a few surveys. I honestly think in the next few years, Greenville's going to see a little bit of a boom in population. A lot of people are seeing it as a quality city. Right now, it is a growing city with a lot of things to offer retirees, including a low-cost living, mild climate, and a variety of cultural attractions. Greenville is south of Asheville, North Carolina. It's not too far from the North Carolina border. If you want to buy a home in Greenville, South Carolina, you're probably looking at $300,000 as starting to get you something decent. They do have a few nice older homes that are around $260,000, but a safe number is $300,000 on up. That's $300,000. All right, let's look at the numbers. The cost of living index in Greenville, South Carolina is 95.1. Their weather is considered mild and you get all 4 seasons. They have good health care, and 18.2% of their population is 65 or older. All right, before we get to number 1, we finally launched our cruise channel. It's The Sweet Life for Briggs. There's a link down below. It's all about cruising and staying in hotel suites and things like that. The first video up right now is a good explainer about the video and what we're doing. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Sarasota, Florida. Sarasota, Florida is always been a great place to retire. It's been very popular over the years, and it's just getting more popular. Problem with that, it's a little more expensive than most of the cities on this list, but it might be worth it if you're looking to retire, especially if you want to retire in a warm climate. Sarasota has beautiful beaches, mild climate, active lifestyle for seniors. If you're looking for Sarasota on a map, it is south of St. Petersburg and Tampa and north of Fort Myers and Cape Coral from earlier. If you want to buy a home here, so it's kind of weird. You can find decent homes in not the best neighborhood for about $275,000. But you can also find crappy homes in better neighborhoods for the same price. They're just all over the map in this city. But in my opinion, if you want to get something decent, $385,000 to $425,000 would be a good number. The newer ones are going to be right around $450,000 to $500,000, and they're usually decent, and they'll probably have a pool. They have a whole bunch of homes that I was looking at in Sarasota that are going for way too much. You look at the house, and it's like $375,000. I wouldn't pay $200,000 for that. And then you look, and it's been on the market for like 3 years. So they just put it up there to see if someone's willing to pay it. All right, here's the stats. The cost of living index in Sarasota is 103.7. The weather is warm and sunny, just like every place in Florida. Sure, the occasional hurricane comes in and takes your roof, but it's a pretty good place to live. Their healthcare is considered excellent, and 18.8% of their population is 65 or older. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.